Hello Australia, welcome to episode 734 of The Couch. We've got a big show today. We're talking about Gynecological Awareness Day, Red Knickers Day to be exact, with Kath Mazzella, very soon with Nisha. Forget-me-not memory cafes are very big here in WA. There's lots of them. We want you to support them and we'll tell you the work that they do. Angie McCluskey is in, so you'll find out what she does as well. Later on, Talking Movies with Alexander. He's got all the latest movies you want to see. Talking Health with Dr. Joe Kostridge and Nisha. Later, Questionable with Simone Springer, Pony and Alexander. And then the Bitchin' team is here for another look at the news topics that we're all talking about. Music-wise, we've got 3 p.m. music coming in to perform live for us. So I hope you can stick around as well for all of that. The Couch 734 starts now.
It's showtime on the couch. It's showtime on the couch. You can see it from your house. You can see it from your house. It's showtime on the couch with Fred and the best in town. You can see it from your house. Yeah, it's showtime on the couch. Oh, oh, oh.
Just love that song. I wish I could play it every week. Oh yeah, we do. It is The Couch. Thank you all around Australia. Thanks for joining us, and around the world to all those people that Google tell me are watching from Africa, Saudi Arabia, America, New Zealand, and Tasmania, but we sort of say Tasmania is not really overseas. But thank you for your company today. Big show. Nisha has got a very special guest today, and we'll get straight into it. Over to you, Nisha.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Fred. Gosh, we're getting very international, and a lovely lady who's very international herself is Kath Mazzella. Welcome back to The Couch.
Thank you, Nisha. Glad to be here.
You're a great advocate for female gynecological issues, and you've been on the show many times, but unfortunately not for the last couple of years. A lot's been happening. What have you been up to?
Well, I think from the last time, 2019, I was invited to the Seroptimist International Convention to speak to 1,000 women, ethnic women over there. So it's great to be able to get some of my work through to the multicultural organisations as well. So that's really exciting. Yeah.
It's fantastic. And gynecological issues, they're kind of like, it's like a bit like mental health, but it's getting better. Like sometimes a bit of a taboo.
Yeah, absolutely.
People don't like to talk about it, and you are wonderful in the community. You're open and you're vibrant. Has it still been as challenging for you in the last few years to get the message out?
It has been, because even to get the connection between mental health and gynecological health, it's still not quite there yet, and it's still a long way to go. But there's a lot of women suffering in silence, and it causes a ripple effect on their families and the husbands and their sex life and things like that. So there's still a long way to go.
What types of engagements or things that have you been doing in the community to try and get that message out?
Oh, well, I was the Jean Hales Women's Health Champion, which is a great honour to have for this year, and that's in September. And so I've had quite a few podcasts, and I've had articles for the Women in Leadership and the Royal Australian Gynecology and Obstetrics. So that's good to be able to be just infiltrating and just trying to get the message out. So it's really good.
Yeah, I imagine you have lots of champions that are inspired by you as well. I've certainly sat on boards or been at board meetings with you rather.
Yes.
And you see other females and males now listening and hopefully starting to pass that message on. Is that what you're hopeful for?
Well, that's what I would love to do, is just sort of find a protege. I might be doing this for 27 years now, but to find somebody to fill my shoes would be fantastic. And I'm sure there must be somebody out there, but it's just finding that right person.
And for those who may have not seen you on The Couch before, just very briefly explain your passion for this topic, because we all do things for different reasons.
Yes. Well, 27 years ago, I actually had vulval cancer, and I had no idea that vulval cancer existed. But even I discovered most women call a vulva as a vagina. I mean, we don't call a penis as testicles, do we? I mean, that would be silly, wouldn't it? So why do we do that? And so there's still a lot of stigma. And I noticed the word pudendum in the dictionary, and the Latin version of that word says female genitalia, one who should and ought to be ashamed, the shameful part of a woman. So I refuse to be ashamed, and I have seen women dying from vulval cancer simply because they didn't have the knowledge to be able to protect themselves.
Yeah, that's really tough. That's across a lot of illnesses, isn't it?
Yeah.
We just don't have the awareness. So on that note, Red Knickers Day is coming up, and love the campaign name this year. Has it been a bit more popular?
It has. has. I think the younger generation, Red Knickers Day, and so, I am getting a lot of interest, and so it's great to be able to find something to log on to be able to, take it further. So, and I want to put some fun into gynecology. People say, you can't do that. And I'm saying, well, who said we can't? We have bras for breast cancer and the pink and the purple. So I'm having red, and I just think red is vibrant, and, it has a statement in itself.
So tell us about Red Knickers Day, because it's a national campaign as much as it is local as well. What's involved and how can people get involved?
Well, it's international. Well, I've created it to be international. It's still a long way to go.
International lady, I told you.
So we're having an event at Kings Park, and we've got the ladies coming along. Some are wearing red knickers and some are still a bit reluctant, but I've got some big cardboard cutouts with red knickers on them. So we're going to have a photo session with that. And we've got... sorry, I forgot.
No, you're fine. You're okay. What I'll do while you're thinking of that is we do have some great items on display here. Can you talk us through this one particularly?
Yeah, sure. I just sort of think we need to put the fun into gynecology. So here, can I move over?
Oh, absolutely. Just be careful with your microphone.
Oh,
I
yes,
can
sorry.
I can drag it.
Okay.
That's better. Sorry, my fault. There we go.
So I'll just pick it up. So here we have, here we have the uterus, and this we have the cervix, and then these are the ovaries. So I've got a few other body parts that I didn't bring in today. Oh, and here we have, can anybody guess what this is? Have any idea?
I wouldn't even try.
No.
It's a vagina, of course.
Okay. Okay.
How do you get a vagina out of that? Tell me, what's the similarity there?
Well, the similarity...
Someone's looking at this going, what?
Okay, well, this is where the penis penetrates.
Oh.
So I'm not quite sure whether we put that...
That's okay, I got what you mean now.
So there is I guess, an important symbolism of understanding what the gynecological, what the actual inside body parts look like.
Yes.
And we can see how sometimes that can be confronting. But what you're telling us, the reason why you've got these on here, is that it's really important to kind of break down that taboo or
stigma.
and stigma, and absolutely have the conversation.
Well, it is.
And create education around it.
Yeah, it is the conversations. Yeah, because the more we can talk about it, the easier it becomes, and we can help save women's lives, and the women with polycystic ovaries, endometriosis, fibroids, prolapse, hysterectomies, menopause.
Yes.
It's huge business.
Yeah, the percentages are certainly going up, and what we hope is that people, like all illnesses, detect early.
Yeah.
So where can people find out more in terms of coming to Kings Park and getting involved on Red Knickers Day?
Right, okay. We look at kathmazzella.com, and we've got all the details of where to go to and what time on Saturday the 10th of September at 1:30.
That's just coming on our screen there, Red Knickers Day on Facebook.
Yeah. So it'd be great if people could come along and see a little bit more about it, and let's celebrate our bodies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is a great message. Thank you, Kath. You're such a great advocate.
My pleasure.
And it's really lovely to have trailblazers like you amongst females in society as well. We need to talk about these things, and we're on a different journey, all of us, in terms of our understanding. So thank you very much. If we can help in the future with you coming back on board, please
I'd love
do
that.
so.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Wonderful. Well, if you've missed any of that, of course, you can go to our Facebook page or our website, thecouch.com.au. But we might see you at Red Knickers Day. Back to you, Fred.
Thank you very much, Nisha. Sounds fantastic. Keep up the good work, Kath. It's always nice to see you back. And I love your demonstrations as well. Very colourful. But you're right, you're breaking down those stigmas, and I think we're all helping you do that as well.
I love your support for allowing me to do that as well.
Oh, look, you've been doing this on the show for many years, so well done.
Thank you.
And hopefully you'll be coming back for many more years to come.
I hope so too.
Well done. All right, music-wise as well, we hope we have lots of music acts for the years to come. Today, a brand new performer on the couch. We haven't had them on before. They're called the band The 3 PM. They are fantastic, and today they're performing a Sonia Data song. It's called Don't Treat Me No Good No More. Here they are, centre stage, 3 PM.
Well, the truth, yeah, it hurts to say. I'm gonna pack up my bags and I'm gonna go away. I'm gonna split, I can't stand it. Gonna give it up and quit, and I'm never going back. Now before you could get to going, it hurts to say. Before you used to love me, but that was yesterday. Now the truth, I won't fight it. When the love starts burn, all you gotta do is right. Lover, 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 you don't treat me no good no more. Ooh, lover, 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 you don't treat me no good no more. Well, the truth, yeah, it hurts to say. I'm gonna pack up my bags and I'm gonna go away. I'm gonna split, I can't stand it. Gonna give it up and quit, and I'm never going back. Now before you get to going, it hurts to say. Before you used to love me, but that was yesterday. Now the truth, I won't fight it. When the love starts burn, all you gotta do is right. Lover, 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 you don't treat me no good no more. Ooh, lover, 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 you don't treat me no good no more. Lover, 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 you don't treat me no good no more. Ooh, lover, 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 you don't treat me no good no more.
Well done. They are fantastic, and they will be back with us at the end of the show if we get time. If not, we'll get you guys to perform on another show too. They're wonderful. Please support them. 3 p.m. music on the couch today. Now, another organisation I'd love to support is Forget Me Not Memory Cafes. Now, we've got the CEO of Forget Me Not Dementia Support, Angie McClusker, in the studio. Welcome, Angie.
Thank you.
It is nice to have you here. Tell me a little bit about the organisation itself. I know it's a charity and it's a not-for-profit.
Exactly.
But tell us how it all works and how it got
Okay.
set up.
All right. My husband's actually living with dementia, and that was diagnosed about 7 years ago. And after the diagnosis, we were pretty much left on our own. Left to your own devices. There were workshops, seminars, forums that I could attend. And there was information on residential care and respite for Michael as and when he needed it. But there was precious little that we could do together, sort of at the time. And because friendships change, personalities change through dementia. Dementia's like an umbrella of many different cognitive impairments, of which Alzheimer's is probably the most prevalent. And people think it's just memory loss, but it isn't. There's behaviour changes, mood swings,
anger.
Absolutely, unusual sort of behaviour, understanding, comprehension of language, all those sort of things.
Eating patterns as well, because I know my mum had dementia.
Yeah.
And the mood swings were the biggest thing. There was times my mum could remember everything.
Yeah.
And we thought, she doesn't have dementia. And then all of a
That's
sudden,
right.
she remembered things from 40 years ago, but not of what happened yesterday.
No.
But the food was one of, she stopped wanting to eat things that she used to love.
Absolutely.
And it's a really complicated
It is.
illness, isn't it?
And it's so different for everyone. You know, you meet one person with dementia and all you've ever done is met one person with dementia. So what I felt is that we couldn't be unique. We weren't the only ones who were beginning to withdraw from society, from friendships were changing. People didn't really understand what was going on with Michael. And to be honest, I didn't either. But I thought we needed to keep going out and to keep socialising. and keep living.
That's
yeah,
right.
keep enjoying the things that we did enjoy without feeling shunned or conspicuous for the unusual behaviour. And that's where the idea of a forget-me-not cafe came up.
These cafes, and I know there's a list of them. Do you know exactly how many are in WA yet? I
We've
know
got
there's
about 20,
30.
I
I was going
think,
to say
at the
about 30.
moment. Yeah,
I've got a
it's
list
about
here, so
20.
they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And are they easily found on the website? Do we know where they are on the website?
Yes, on the
Beautiful.
website it will have the memory cafes. And
What do they do at the cafes? Tell me what their purpose is.
all right, the purpose is really keeping that interaction. Okay, letting people know that they're not alone and to actually share together because you can
There's some
share
photos
experiences.
Tell me about that photo.
Oh, that was the opening of our Baldivis cafe, and we actually have the Forget Me Not T-shirts, which some of our champions and their members, people who come along to the cafe.
It's amazing because you're almost saying we've created a club for
Yeah.
people who either are suffering with dementia or family members that are treating people or dealing with or living with or loving someone with dementia, which there's lots of us. And I guess you're saying we can go to a place where you feel normal.
Exactly. Exactly.
Did I get that right? Is that the
Yeah,
feeling?
yeah, to normalise everything, you know. And the whole beauty of the Forget Me Not Cafe is there's no booking, there's no registration.
Just walk in.
You just come along. And it's not dementia in a box. We're always in a public place,
Correct.
A local cafe, a local hotel.
How do cafes become, the special cafes that they are, the forget-me-not cafes? How do they become? How do they register? What do they need to do?
Okay, just contact us through our website and we'll be able to come and have a look. And I mean, the main thing we need is somewhere where there's plenty of room, where we can have a long table so that people can interact and can be mobile and move around each other and really have that friendly
Interaction, isn't it?
interaction.
But you know what I love about it? It's the fact that you're at a long table. People with dementia wouldn't know what other people go through.
No.
And even if there is a short-term memory there, it is wonderful to feel like you can talk to other people about it. And I'm assuming the whole idea of having these forget-me-not cafes is people can assimilate, people can talk about what they go through. And it is always current and it's always important.
Absolutely. And it can help one another because, you know, what you may be going through, someone sort of sitting next to you has already been through it. And it's not all doom and despondency, you know. There are some funny times living with people with dementia, you know. And it's those sort of things that you share together as well as help.
I'll share a story with you. When my mum had dementia, we went down to, I think at the time it was St John of God in it used to be St Anne's Hospital. But anyway, they do the assessments there. And my mum was still there. She knew exactly what was going on. And I sat her down and the doctor said to me, I've got all her tests here. Don't worry, I said, he said to me, I said, what can you do for you? He goes, we can't do anything. And my mum said, tell him to give me a tablet and it'll fix it. And I said, Mum, they can't fix it. And then he basically said to me, you've just got to pretend your mum's already gone. And it just about killed me.
Oh,
because
my
how do you,
goodness.
and this is the sort of, and I'm not saying everywhere has got this attitude, but this is why it's really important, like organisations like this happen. Now, my mum's now been gone 7 years, but I never, ever pretended she was gone.
No,
Because
no.
to you and me, and also with your husband, they're there. They're
Absolutely.
alive, and you treat them with respect, and they want to be part of life.
That's right, absolutely. You know, it is the long goodbye, but while they're here, hey, say hello every day.
Live
you know.
every day. You're here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. Now, is there something special happening in the way of people can help you fundraise or get involved?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. At the Forget Me Not Cafes, we always have some interactive activities because even though memory is going and maybe verbal comprehension, touch, anything tactile is still really prevalent. So we have little puzzles, little magnets. We even have
Tell
some
me about the
therapy
pins,
toys.
because I know you're wearing one there. We might try and focus on your pin if we can, if you just leave it flat there.
Yeah.
Tell me about the pin. What does it mean?
Okay, the
There
pin-
it is there.
That's
How
it.
good did you hold it? Look at it.
I'm clever.
Yeah.
The Forget Me Not pin, Michael went missing a few years ago.
Yes.
And people living with dementia, especially Alzheimer's, they do wander. And when they're wandering, they don't know they're lost. They don't know they're tired. They don't know they're
Correct. We've
hungry.
had one recently disappear.
Yeah, and
Yep.
and when Michael went missing, went walkabouts, it wasn't long after a gentleman had disappeared and unfortunately
I
wasn't
remember.
found.
That's right.
Michael was found. He
Beautiful.
went missing from Kings Park, gone 6 hours. It was the most traumatic time.
It is very stressful for loved ones and
Awful.
family.
And that's when I got to thinking, what if there was something he could have been wearing?
With his name on the back, maybe.
Yeah, but there was, he had a tracker.
Or he
tracker
could ring
went
an
flat.
organisation.
Exactly. Michael would have looked perfectly ordinary.
Yes, correct.
He was a man in his 60s. He wasn't particularly old. He wasn't infirm. He had all his faculties,
You
apart
wouldn't know
from the
that he had
brain,
dementia.
you wouldn't have known.
Exactly.
But he may have passed in that 6 hours the same people several
Correct.
times.
Correct. And if they saw the badge, they
They-
could actually then go, he's part of that group.
That's
I'm going to
right.
ring them. And at least you
Yeah.
can get some help to people straight away.
Absolutely.
Now, dementia, these dementia cafes, actually forget-me-not memory cafes, they do a wonderful job. There's around 30 of them here in WA. Are they going to take it nationally?
We've been actually asked to take
Beautiful.
it nationally.
Well, congratulations.
Yes.
I hope
Yeah.
it does go national.
Thank you.
There's the website. Do you want to give it to us for people who want to go and look you up and support you?
Of course, it's www.forgetmenotmemorycafe.com.
Well done. Angie, it's always, time goes by really quick, but we would love to have you ongoing on the couch if we can ever be of help, even just promoting fundraiser or awareness. We'd love to be involved.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Angie McCluskey, of course, she is the CEO of Forget Me Not Dementia Support here in WA, soon to go national, I hope. And please support the cafes, they do great work. If you need to know where they are, check out the website that Angie just spoke about, or look at our website and we'll have a link there as well. Thank you for being on the couch today.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break. More of the couch coming up right after this. Stick around. Well done. Welcome back to the couch. Time to talk movies. Poor Elwyn is away for a couple of weeks with his daddy duties, but we have got somebody in to fill in, and he's very qualified. Alexander Sacosta.
Thank you
Welcome.
very much.
Thank you for
Fred.
coming in as well.
Happy
We
to
appreciate
fill
it.
in for Paul.
We have got 5 fantastic movies.
We do, and
you've
it's
looked
exciting
at.
time in movies. There's always so many good movies coming out, so I love that I get to chat about a few of them.
Well, Bosch and Rocket.
Bosch and Rocket, interesting title. This is from the oldest Hemsworth brother. Luke is in this one. So it's a bit of a coming-of-age Australian film about kind of a teenage surfer who's burdened with 2 very slack parents. So Luke Hemsworth plays the dad, and they have to escape to Byron Bay, funnily enough, where they all live, after a fire burns out his drug crop. So it's very relatable.
Looks like a great movie, and of course it's Australian.
Yes, and
Which is really important as well.
I feel the early reviews are saying it has a bit of a Nicholas Sparks tone to it. So if you've ever seen The Notebook.
Have you seen this one yet?
This one I have not seen yet.
Now, it is out now. You can
It
go watch it
is.
at Palace Cinema if you like, which I recommend to people.
Absolutely. Good to see Australian films.
Exactly,
And
yes.
good to see the other Helmsworth brother.
It's nice to see the one that you don't see a lot,
See as
which
much,
is great
Luke
as well.
Hemsworth.
Let's talk about the next movie, or Nope.
Nope. Let's talk about Nope now.
Yep.
This is written and directed by Jordan Peele. 2 siblings, Get Out's Daniel Kaluuya and Akilah and the Bee's Kiki Palmer, are running a horse ranch in California where they discover something wonderful and sinister in the skies above. While the owner of the adjacent theme park, The Walking Dead Stephen Yeun, tries to profit from this mysterious, otherworldly phenomenon. So
Looks
this is
interesting.
actually a very interesting film. Now, I have seen this film.
What did
and-
you think? What was your personal opinion
I'm
on
a big
it?
fan of Jordan Peele. I liked Us. I liked Get Out. I like his style. It's intellectual horror, and it leaves you unsettled. But that's what you should feel when you see a horror film.
So does it make you want to solve the crime?
It's not a crime necessarily. It's more just about the metaphor. That it's kind of a sci-fi film, but it's very metaphorical, and it kind of cements him as this kind of
What's
like
your
new
target
Alfred
audience
Hitchcock.
for this one, do you reckon?
I would say definitely people who like horror films, people who like sci-fi, and people who like a bit of an intellectual film.
So we
as
say
well.
don't take the kids?
It's not for children. Absolutely
worthwhile?
Not.
Out of 10, what would
Definitely.
you give
Out
it?
of 10, I would say I'd give it like a 7.5 out of 10.
Fantastic.
I definitely enjoyed this film.
All right, well, there you go. That's called Nope. You
Out in
catch
cinemas
that
now.
out now. Thank you very
Absolutely.
much. What's the next one?
Wog Boys Forever.
Now, this one here takes my fancy because I remember the Wog Boy movies.
It does feel like we're...
Look, they've all aged.
They have.
But they're still quite funny.
they're still funny.
Does it ever amaze you being of Italian background like
Sissy.
me, do you find the Wog jokes and that, you think nowadays not politically correct, but yet
Right.
they get away with it?
I think so, because obviously it's a different time, and when we think of Italian Australians, very much more assimilated into Australian culture, so to kind of own the word in a way.
What are we going to see in this movie?
Okay, so this is Steve Nick Giannopoulos.
Yeah.
Is still single and working as a taxi driver, whereas Brianna Beaglethorpe, the Minister for Immigration, hatches a plan with her brother to exact their revenge on Steve for destroying their late mother, Raylene's political career in the
Now,
other film.
am I right in thinking it's all the same cast as the previous?
Yeah,
Nearly
they've all returned. You've got, what's his name?
Not the, what do they call him? The one with the bald head. Is that who you're thinking
No,
of?
I'm thinking of the one who was in Celebrity Apprentice recently. No.
No, not Tony the
Oh,
Yugoslav.
they've got Sushi Mango appearing as well as their
they're
Italian
in it
next
as
door
well.
neighbours.
Now, it's pretty funny. I guess it's one of those films that sort of never goes out of fashion.
No, and I think it's good, nice to see that he's come back after all these years to come back.
Do we know who directed this one?
I do not.
No, that's all right. We'll find out when we go to the movie.
And looking forward
Read
to
the
it.
credits. It's really important. That's okay.
Another Australian film as well.
It is a good
Fantastic.
Australian. And can I say Nick Giannopoulos? He's been around. He's a legend of comedy.
Oh, yeah.
He's like
Did you ever watch
Paul,
Apocalypse Now?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
But the last movie I saw of Wogs,
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was called, but it was in Greece. And it was really funny.
Some Greeks on tour or
That
something?
might be the one,
Yep,
but I thought it was
he
funny.
in that
It's
as
sort
well.
of like that one, My Greek Wedding. It's
Yeah,
got
My
the
Greek
similar
Wedding.
but
Yeah,
Australian
Yeah,
humour.
and it's just nice, family-friendly, good.
Exactly. What's the next one?
Halloween Ends.
Oh,
So
this
we're
is
entering
scary.
October, obviously, Fred. So we are in the Halloween season. Now, I've seen the other two, and I'm a big fan of these ones because they reimagined it. They brought back Jamie Lee Curtis 4
Yes.
years after her last encounter with the masked killer, Michael Myers. Laurie Strode is living with her granddaughter and trying to finish her memoir.
I do hope this is the last one. Though.
It's the third one in the trilogy. So
Beautiful.
it's like Halloween Kills, and now Halloween Ends. Apparently, it's even going to acknowledge the fact that we had the pandemic. So
Fantastic.
It's hard to
Now, Jamie Lee Curtis, what an amazing
Oh,
actress.
fantastic. She was in the original
Correct,
Halloween. All these years
correct.
later to play the same character. Fantastic.
I thought the one before this was a bit weak.
It was
I have to say.
it's in the middle. Like, it's hard.
But I hope this one really gets him.
Oh, yeah.
And look, we know that
Well, he's already a supernatural being by this stage. Like,
Exactly.
anything's possible.
So
And,
this
like,
one here is out what date?
we're looking at a release date of the 13th of October.
Sounds
See
fantastic.
the cinemas for that one.
What's the next one?
Last one, Black Adam. So nearly 5,000 years after he was bestowed with the almighty powers of the Egyptian gods and imprisoned just as quickly, Black Adam is freed from his earthly tomb, ready to unleash his unique form of justice on the modern world. This is another superhero film. This is from the DC canon, not the Marvel. So this isn't your Captain America side. This is the Batman, Superman side. Very interesting. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, obviously playing the role of Black Adam. Very well cast. I think he'll be really good in it. Although I am getting a bit tired of the amount of superhero films we're getting.
It looks fantastic. The CGI looks amazing.
Special
the
effects
amount
are
of money
incredible. And it
that's
has some of those lesser known characters like Adam Smasher and Dr. Fate.
fantastic. And that's out on what date?
That's coming out the 20th of October.
Fantastic.
So-
They're the 5 movies we've picked for you this the time around. There will be another movie segment very soon before the end of the year. Now, the top 5 movies, this is when I say top 5 movies. You look at the screen
I love it.
and our director puts them up on there from 5 to 1 and
I feel like Paul.
you read them.
Oh,
there you
ready.
go.
So
And
we've
number
got
5.
Number 5, The Black Phone. Oh, that's a horror film. Very
Number
good.
4.
Number 4, Top Gun Maverick, still holding in
Number
there.
3, yeah, it's still there.
Elvis, fantastic film. With
Number
her
2.
actress in that one. Number 2, Where the Crawdads Sing.
And number 1.
And number 1, of course, Thor, Love and Thunder.
Now, you know the Top Gun movie. I don't know if you
Yes.
remember a guy on radio called Gary Shannon, but most of us remember him. But most people out there will say, oh, I know Gary Shannon. He went and watched it, didn't want to watch it. He said he's not into it, doesn't like Tom Cruise. He got taken to watch it by the marketing guy, Brett Benetti from 6IX radio station. Loved it. Absolutely loved
good.
it. And Brett's been 3-4 times, and he's going back to watch it again. And Gary said, I'm coming with you. So there you go. So
Fantastic.
Top Gun, do yourself a favour, go and watch it. Now, if you would like to win some movie tickets, we're going to give away some. Thanks to Palace Cinema, we'd love to give you some tickets. 2 lots of doubles. We'll give you a double platinum and a double normal class, which is just as good. If you'd like to go down and enjoy the experience of platinum and the general tickets at Palace Cinema here in Perth, we'd love you to win. If you've got a Palace Cinema anywhere in Australia, you can enter this competition. All you have to do to enter is on an SMS to 0439 929 929. That's our number. Put in the code word, which is Palace Cinema. And we need your name and address.
P-A-L-A-C-E.
Say it again.
Palace, P-A-L-A-C-E.
Very well done. Oh, Paul, watch
Oh,
out.
you're in trouble.
And we'd love you to enter that competition anywhere in Australia where Palace Cinemas are, or Luna Cinemas, and we'd love to give you those tickets. Thank you to Alex Acosta. We'll see you very soon. You're coming back with Questionable.
I do like a good question.
There you go. Do you know what the question is today?
Oh, I shouldn't
What
I?
is it?
I believe it's ways to save money in this
there
economy.
You go. There you go. You got it right. Put him on the spot. We'll see Alex after the break, and we'll see you after the break as well. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Well done. Back to the couch now. Just some information I wanted to pass on. Angie, of course, McCluskey, that was on before from the Forget Me Not Memory Cafes, was saying that the little badges that she was showing, you can only get them at the actual cafes themselves. They've got plenty to give away and they are absolutely free. Keeping with that theme, talking health, we've got Dr. Kostridge in to talk to him. It's our very own Nisha. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Fred. And we are continuing with the theme today. Welcome to the couch, Dr. Joe.
Afternoon, Nisha.
You are a resident medical advisor here, and we're very excited to have you back. And we're talking proactive here, so we're talking about curbing the dementia risk. First of all, I guess for our audience members, we've all heard about dementia, but what are we referring to when we talk about it?
Yeah, look, and I think most people have a concept of what it is, and it's essentially the losing of mental faculties. So one loses memory, and I really want to emphasise it's not just I can't remember where I left my keys. It is more than that. On any given day, you're going to forget something, it's a given. But no, it's that more consistent inability to remember significant, not just significant, but remember things, but also to be able to cognise, to be able to work things out and to be able to do tasks. It can often be hidden for a while because if people are on autopilot, then they can go through a lot of the day without really having to think about what they're doing, put them out of a familiar environment, and then it can then unmask.
Interestingly as well, statistics is what we all look at, particularly in media reports. What do we know about dementia, particularly its prevalence and as we get older, what it looks like?
Interestingly, and this is going to sound initially paradoxical, but it isn't, the total number of people with dementia is increasing because we have an ageing population, and particularly with the boomers, there's an increased number of people in their 70s, 80s and 90s. However, interesting work out of Europe where they've done each decade cognition tests, which again, tests of ability to think and reason on people aged 80 and 90 in different decades. The percentage of people in those age groups with dementia has actually been going down each decade for at least the last 3 decades. Okay. So the percentage is less, but because there's more people in those age groups, the total number is going up. But also the way the world population is going, there's probably going to be a peak somewhere perhaps in the next 20 to 30 years, and then we're actually probably going to see a decrease as the percentage drops further and the total number of people is looking to be like it's dropping as well.
Yeah, so thank you for sharing those insights. When we're talking about curbing risk, what types of things can we do to curb risk?
Yeah, look, and this interesting work's just come out in the last few weeks. Very similar to the idea of if you maintain physical fitness, then it's good for your bones and muscles. And not surprisingly, exercising the brain is one of the protective factors against dementia. And this work looked at people who, different activities that people do. For example, reading, playing games, playing a musical instrument, doing different puzzles or tasks. Really anything that challenges the mind and in particular causes you to have to think, but also to create new neural pathways. So you're having to think about maybe something you haven't thought before. Maybe you go for a walk even and you take a slightly different route. So you're having to think about what you're doing. Causes the brain to have to work, and that is shown to be a protective factor. We know people who, and this has been worked out of Japan a few years ago, people who stay in the workforce a little bit longer. And I want to emphasise, it doesn't have to be working for a living, it could be volunteer work or the not-for-profit sector, but again, utilising the brain and having to think and do tasks also is a protective factor. Physical activity is known to be beneficial, and then obviously a sensible diet, maintaining levels of magnesium, zinc, vitamin B6, vitamin D, good quality proteins, good quality fats, and a sensible diet. It's not only good in terms of preventing. And I want to say preventing. None of these are guarantees. It's not a force field. It doesn't say it can't happen, but you can reduce your risk. And then look, not drinking too much. And by drinking too much doesn't mean if you like a glass of wine with your dinner. No, that's not a problem. But a bottle a day is going to be a problem. And smoking smoking are also risk factors. So it's a combination of what you do and what you don't do. And the good news is most of those activities and avoidances not only going to reduce your chances of dementia, probably going to reduce your chances of a number of forms of cancer, reduce your chance of heart disease, stroke and diabetes. So you get a lot of bang for your buck.
That's perfect. So healthy, meaningful behaviour.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask this question because I'm sure a lot of people are sitting there thinking it. So it's never too late to start to challenge your mind and build that, I guess, that muscle, nearly like muscle flexibility, nearly like new neural pathways you mentioned.
Absolutely, it's never too late. There was work done, a little bit off topic, at the University of Sydney some years ago, finding that I think people aged as old as 101 could develop new muscle fibres. The brain, out of all the parts of the human body, we probably understand the brain the least. You know, for example, we've got a memory. You can remember maybe what you had for breakfast, but you can't physically identify where in the brain that memory sits. It's a series of connections, and we don't understand that. So, but what we do understand is that exercising the mind keeps it in good shape. It shouldn't come as a great surprise.
Yes.
And often, in health, it really is a tendency, and particularly in academia, they're the worst for this. Everything somehow has to be complicated. If there's a simple way of doing it, if there's an accessible way of doing it, if there's a way of doing it that doesn't involve me getting government grants, we don't want to know about it. You don't need a government grant to go for a walk. You don't need a government grant to do a crossword puzzle.
Absolutely.
You don't need a government grant, to eat some more vegetables. Or, these are really simple tasks that aren't expensive, that really are quite accessible. You don't need to be a millionaire to be able to do this stuff either. It really is very accessible.
Yeah, now, as a psychologist, I always say to clients, you can put a action plan together, right? So what you're saying is adding maybe 10 minutes of mindfulness or using, I've heard of Luminosity, I think is an app that is to stretch. There's a few apps I think that you can utilise to actually keep your brain waves going.
Wordle, I think, is the most popular one
Yeah,
at the moment. And I know people who do words with friends. It's like a form of Scrabble online. Anything like that. And you don't have to get a high score. The fact that you're doing it is
perfect.
what counts.
Any other tips for people who are looking to, I guess, introduce some new activities to keep their minds active?
Oh, look, I mean, like with most things in life, finding that which interests you.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you're into words, then a word-type puzzle would be good. If you're more into numbers, then there can be puzzle games or mathematical formulas that can be good. Crossword puzzles are old-fashioned, but they're still popular. Sudoku, it's not been something that I've ever taken to, but a lot of people like it. Enough people who do orienteering. I've seen some patients at the surgery who have this sort of app thing. They have to wander around the streets looking for hidden tokens. They're not actually physically hidden, but they are on particular grid points and they have to be able to identify. So there's a myriad. The most important part is doing that which interests you, because if it interests you and enjoy it, you're going to be doing it without it feeling like a drudge.
Wonderful. And I asked you this question earlier about, is it too late to start? But what about early? Do you recommend young people get started on exercising their minds?
Oh, look, absolutely. Exercising the mind and exercising the body. I don't think you're ever too young to start that. And getting into good habits at an early age is also very important.
Wonderful. Dr. Joe, always so informative. Where do we find out more or perhaps even contact you?
Look, and go on the website at drjoetoday.com and click on there.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we'll look forward to having you back on board on another show very soon, I'm sure.
Thanks, Nisha.
Now, if you missed any of that, of course, you can go to thecouch.com.au or our Facebook page too. But for now, it's back to you, Fred.
Thank you, Nisha, and thank you to Dr. Joe, who'll be back again next month with another great segment. Time now to have a little bit of a break from serious topics. We're talking questionable about money. Should we save it or should we spend it? And with us today is Pony, Alexander and Simone. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Fred, and welcome to Questionable on the Couch. Today's question is, in this economy, should we be saving or spending money? All right, guys, what do we think? Saving or spending?
Spending. Spend it on everything.
Of course, look at your outfit.
Right. It's made of solid gold. It just looks different on TV. I think we need to stimulate the economy any way we can, and the best way I know how to is to shop. Yeah.
I'm saving all the way, all under the mattress. Like, I can barely, get on the bed. That's how much I've saved. It's just notes after notes after notes under there.
It looks like it. You both look very expensive.
Thank you.
So the things that people have been spending on have been streaming services, Uber Eats, gym equipment and tracksuits, because who needs office wear if you never leave the house? What do you?
I like that, Simone, and I think there's always an opportunity to just like swap things, right? So you buy the expensive bread, maybe buy the cheaper home brand bread, or instead of going to the movies, maybe go to the park with your family, and then maybe instead of getting Disney Plus, maybe just bash your head in with like a hammer or something. It's like the same experience, mindless.
And Pony, how do you intend to survive inflation in 2022?
I actually read this article recently on it, and it said that there's three tips. You need to shop for groceries differently. I've tried it. Like, I went blindfolded once. I went at midnight. One day I went and I bought only products that started with S. And like you know.
So what were the things that you bought?
Well, like, the kids are loving their Smackos for breakfast. Like, they're loving eating that. Another tip it had was to use your gas wisely. I tell you, I never waste my gas.
No.
Like, I make sure I've always got an audience before I release it, obviously. What was the final tip? It was about, I've got it here, always to have an emergency savings fund.
Yes.
It's actually called piggy bank. Really, your kids' piggy banks. Like, I've got emergency savings funds right there in front of me. It's just
Capitalising what you've got around you.
That's
You've
right.
got children, you've got a future workforce. Put them into shows, cartoons, movies, anything. The children are workers.
they're the future.
The future of your like 401k.
Yeah, and if you give them money for their birthdays, you've got it there if you need it.
exactly savings fund.
genius.
It's great.
So do you think that some people can go too far? Like, recently an influencer got into trouble because she posted online that she took her own avocado to a cafe.
Love it. Love it.
You don't think there's such thing as going too far?
I think an avocado is an interesting thing because she could have bought quite a few homes with that avocado. So it was quite selfish for her to consume it in a cafe. But I do understand where she's coming from because I bought my own cutlery, my own table, my own tablecloth, my own charcuterie board, just everything that we have to bring ourselves into a movie cinema. I'm not paying the expensive prices. Have you seen the prices at movies?
You can't even get avocado in the movie.
$15 for a small popcorn? I could eat the money and be full.
You just pick up the popcorn off the floor.
Off the floor.
What I thought
Like
was
a
interesting
grown-up.
was that she wanted to save on the avocado, but she was willing to pay, like, how much is bread at a cafe? $5, $6. You can get a whole loaf for $1 or $2. Why not take the whole loaf?
You can get it for free. Meet me out back, Baker's Delight. Just open the bin.
Yes.
You're welcome, everyone.
She really needed to bring the whole lot. I think she missed her mark there.
She did. So you're saving your money. You're spending your money.
Yes.
What are the things that you spend the most on?
Well, I did an actual audit of my spending and I was kind of surprised that I'd spent over $10,000 on clothes. And I was like, $20,000. But I'm really good now because, like, now I know that if I'm ever in like a hard spot, I can just eat my clothes.
I didn't realise that tarot cash is that expensive.
You'd be surprised.
Kmart's really increased those prices.
I mean, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah.
I need a pocket square. It's 2022.
If it works for moths, why not humans?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some kind of roughage in there.
Yeah.
I've been spending my money on things that will hold their value. CDs, DVDs.
Blockbuster video
all the
shares.
way, all the way.
I'm
You guys are
investing.
so smart.
We just want to invest in like new technology, like fossil fuels.
Yeah. Oh my God, there really isn't enough coal these days. So what do you guys have? What are some tips for everyone out there to help them save money?
Right.
Kids are the best.
Have children. Never get ice in any drinks.
Get children what for?
You can, like, for example, I've been teaching them we unwrap all of our toilet paper and make it one ply, and then we wrap it back up. So now we have 2 rolls. Oh, you know, so the kids, like, I put them to work as soon as I bring the toilet paper home. If we are going to if it's mealtime, we just go to a friend's house.
Yeah.
Every mealtime.
And family tax benefits.
Become friends with every kid in the class, so you're always going to a birthday on the weekend.
Only be friends with people, with kids that have a boat.
Jump in front of expensive cars. Just being creative about how you approach it. Yeah.
Eat roadkill.
Try to drown near a yacht.
When you go shopping, make sure you sample everything.
Yes.
Grapes, chocolate, batteries, you know.
Health insurance.
You could go to bed when it's dark, all the lights are off. Like, the kids have been going to bed about 4:30, 5 o'clock throughout the whole of winter.
Hibernating.
It's been great.
Yeah, if you sleep for a couple of months of the year, you don't have to eat.
When we sleep, we don't eat, we don't spend.
And you especially hide at Christmas. So you hide out that whole 2-month period, block it out, December, January, because Christmas is expensive.
What about washing clothes? If you don't wash them, you save on detergent.
So become a nudist. No clothes.
Yes.
Problem solved.
Genius.
Medical testing. There's some more money. I just think of them, Simone. They just come to me. There's so many ways you can save money, and people don't even realise like the ways you can. It's actually like simple, like little ideas, just simple.
And the way you've been talking about politics lately openly, it means that now you've lost a lot of friends and family.
Friends and family. I don't get invited to the charity dinners.
You don't have to buy any gifts.
I don't have to buy anything.
Genius. Also, hair. I was thinking, you don't have to pay for hairdressing,
Shave
conditioner.
yourself completely.
Shave it all bald. You have no hair, no hairdressing costs.
Like all of the Barbies at my house. Bald.
Yeah.
Bold and happy. Happy.
So what do you think, guys? Saving or spending? You have excellent savings.
Yes, I'm still saving.
I spend on what I want and then save on literally everything else.
Thank you so much that you've been listening to Questionable. And back to you, Fred.
Thank you very much. And Simone, do you save or do you spend?
Oh, I save. I save a lot. I've never bought a grape. I've never paid for a grape.
Oh, wow. Stealing
Why
has
bother
become
when you can just eat it at the supermarket?
I'm looking forward to Alexander's nudity week.
Thank you, Fred. I'm just a good person.
We'll probably never have to eat again. Thank you very much for being on the show. We'll see you next month for our last show of the year. They'll be back in October. Thank you for watching. We'll take a quick break. Bitchin' is back right after the break. Stay tuned. Well done.
Connect with The Couch online through Facebook, Instagram and YouTube.
Welcome back to The Couch. Hope you've enjoyed the show this Sunday. We look forward to your company next week. Another big show. But now it's time for Bitchin'. Let me introduce the three bitches today. We have got Ted Bull on the left, Steve Collins in the middle, filling in for Jen and Nat, and of course Chris Hillsley at the far end of the right couch.
I like the way we've got Steve Collins filling in for Nat and Jen,
Yes.
because he can fill in for both of them.
There you go. I didn't say that, but Chris,
That's a
thank you very
calling
much.
the kettle black.
I know. I just said, geez, we cut that one out. Ted, thank you very much for being here today. What's your story?
Great. Well, I have come across a new word to me called shrinkflation. Now, when I first came across it, I thought maybe that has something to do with a bloke having a cold shower in the middle of winter.
Right.
Or going on a diet.
And you might snicker at that, but it's all about Snickers. Now, I have a weakness for Snickers, and Snickers, same price, 12% less.
Now, some news about Snickers. Cadbury has actually brought them back to Australia.
Well,
They're
to
being
Ballarat.
made here. Yes.
Yeah. Well, they were
Tornadoes,
being made
yes.
in Ballarat,
Yep.
and then when they decided they need to upgrade their anyway, you don't want to hear about that.
So why are they dropping the size of it?
Well, it's this way they go about it, and it's nothing new because I actually have this list, which originally was a foolscap size, but it's been shrunk to fit in with the story.
yes.
Now Maltesers are fun. Anybody interested in a fun-sized bag?
Yeah, fun, all right.
I do like
I
a
like
fun
the
bag.
bags, yes, my bags are
A
good.
fun-sized
It's
bag
like a
of
diabetic's
Maltesers.
safety pack now.
It's gone from 144 grams to 132. Now, Wheat Bix, the value
Weet-Bix.
pack, it's gone from 1.5 kilos to 1.2. And there's more. Smith chips.
Yep.
Or crisps, if you're more modern than me. 200 grams,
180.
now 170.
Yep.
And Pringles, 165 grams to 130. And the one that really gets me, and I notice this one, the Cadbury chocolate bar, 250 grams.
And the
to
interesting-
Don't
200.
mention the wagon wheel.
The
The
interesting-
wagon wheel.
Yeah, well, they've
used to
all-
be giant.
Yes.
Look at it now.
Yes.
It's a
Tiny.
dinky toy
Yes.
wheel now. It
It's-
is disgraceful.
It's shrinkflation.
There you go. And can I just ask you,
Yes, by all means.
won't
have
like
you
the
made the
wagon.
comment
No, it
that
won't.
we may have reduced the actual size, but the price has still gone up?
Yeah.
Oh, has it gone up as well? I
Yes,
didn't know
yeah,
that. I
they
thought
have.
they retained
How
this.
do you justify that? There was it was a tin of soup or something. It was 422 grams, and I thought, that's just weird. If you were making something when you started, it wouldn't be 422. I found out it started at 450.
Wow.
And it's just slowly inching down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
What
I know
about you,
they
Steve?
took out all the lentils and now it's called has-beens.
Steve, quick comment, and we'll move on to your story.
Comment, yeah, look, it's all, everything is shrinking. Everything is shrinking except for
You and me.
Yes.
Well, it's true. Biscuits have gone down in size.
They
Chocolates
do.
have gone
Yeah.
down in size.
Everything's gone down.
Everything, ice cream's reduced size, but
Yes.
the prices have stayed.
Consider
high.
this a
It's crazy.
formal complaint.
Correct.
It is.
About
Stop it.
shrinkflation.
You get little thick tins of Coke and that for that size now.
Double
I know
the
you
price.
go, oh,
Steve,
dear.
what's your story?
Well, Qantas. Remember when Qantas used to be probably the best brand in Australia
Yeah.
for public confidence? Well, since COVID, it's not. It's become one of the worst. And I know that COVID has affected a lot of people, and I know that a lot of airlines have been adversely affected by COVID, justifiably so. But with COVID, Qantas got over $2 billion worth of government support, and what did they do? They sacked all the unionists, particularly
Baggage handlers.
the luggage handlers, and outsourced it, and they managed to give their highly paid executives bonuses.
And they
That is so
survive.
wrong.
They survive.
Well, that's right. But the other thing is, when they all started flying again, their CEO, whose
Alan
name
Lewis.
I can hardly bear to mention, went on and blamed the passengers for being out of practice because their luggage was being lost.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
This guy should go.
He did
this
apologise.
is terrible.
We have to say he did apologise for saying that.
So what?
But then
He meant it. This business
Yep.
of saying something and then going, "Oh, I'm sorry." That's
I
rubbish.
agree with you, I agree.
What they
The
do is
$50.
they
It's so
say
easy,
it,
isn't it?
knowing
Yeah.
they're going to have to
Pathetic.
retract
They're
it.
giving,
$50
they're giving
pathetic
frequent
voucher.
flyers a $50 voucher and putting the prices of flights
Yeah,
up
look.
20%.
And that's not the only place. You look at Jetstar, and I know we have
yeah, well, Jetstar's part
but
of
Jetstar's
Qantas.
part of Qantas. If you
But
book to go to Bali...
That's a low-cost airline. I expect
No,
a
but
low-cost
it's not the
airline
low
to be-
cost. What they've done is you can go for $2.99 to Bali.
Yeah.
But when you actually go to book, there's a hidden fee in between for the luggage of about $300.
They've always done that.
$65. It's
Yeah.
gone up and it's been...
But I love
Would it be
the...
cheaper to not take luggage
And
and
buy
buy
it
the
there.
clothes
Buy
in
the clothes
Bali?
over there.
I agree.
And
And I love the little thing
Yeah,
I
I
saw
agree.
where they said we were losing like 40% of luggage. Now it's only 8%.
That's
oh,
great.
isn't that
Oh,
great?
that's
If
fabulous.
yours happens to be part of that
Yeah.
8%,
So
do we thumbs
And
up?
guess
whoa,
what?
are they
Guess what,
lucky?
Ted?
And-
We've chosen you to be one of the lucky
And I tell you
eight.
something, I'm one of these people that thinks I'm sick of Qantas calling itself the national airline. They're not owned by the government.
No.
They're not owned by the people. They are a private company
Yeah, and what's
making a lot of
more,
profit.
For international flights, they practically ignore Perth,
Yes,
and they
correct.
always have.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cairns gets more international
Very
flights than
true.
Perth does.
And
Not a
I'll
good
tell you
sign.
something
Yep.
else. People forget what Qantas really stands for. Quick and nasty, typical Australian service.
On that note, let's go to you, Chris. What's your story? Thank you.
You've
Chris.
got it. You've got to love this one. Right? Bloke goes to court. I've got to build this picture. He goes to court and he has a string of traffic offences for which he's fined $6,500 and he's slapped with another 4.5 years suspension on his licence. Right? So what does said prime example of evolution do? He jumps into a company
He walks
car.
out of the court
It's
and
worth
jumps into a car.
$130,000 and drives away from the court.
But while the police were looking,
Yes, and they pull
What an
him up.
idiot. What an
They
idiot.
impound the company car for 28 days, which I'm pretty sure the company are not going to say thank you for. And the fellow gets charged, are you ready for this? $130,000. Now, I don't want to put a finer point on this, but if I was looking for a better definition of the word moron, I don't think I'd find it in the dictionary.
Yeah, look,
it's
I must admit.
$130,000 well fined, isn't it? Really?
Yes.
And he got 4.5 year suspension of his licence, but it obviously doesn't care anyway.
There was a movie out years ago, and I think it was David Wenham, and he played this sort of person who sounds like him.
Yep.
And the judge is sentencing him, and he says, "Please, sir," to the judge, "please, sir, can I have my bus fare, please?" Perhaps he should have followed that advice.
Yes.
Do you know what? It's becoming very normal that people are disrespecting the law, disrespecting police. I mean, you come out of a court where
Yeah,
you've just
I mean,
been punished and suspended from driving, and you get out and get in a car
But
and
there is
drive off
another
again.
reason behind this. There's
The guy's an idiot.
There's that, right? But unfortunately, we don't give people licences to breed. I reckon we could mount a strong argument to say we should, but we don't.
But the Darwin theory.
Yes,
Yeah.
but here's what it is. Here's the biggest problem.
Yep.
Police, certainly in Western Australia, and from what certainly also in Queensland, from what I can read, just about every other state as well, they're all dependent on speed cameras.
Yeah, which is
Speed
wrong.
cameras do not replace
They raise
officers in cars
revenue.
They do not.
patrolling, and they
Correct.
do not pick up
Yep.
bad driving. They do not pick up unlicensed drivers
All they
on the
do
road.
is
And
raise
here's the
revenue.
other point,
Yep.
and this is something
They
that
don't
they...
pick up people texted and stuff like that.
No.
Although they are getting cameras.
Well, they
that
reckon
do
that,
that.
yeah, but they're fixed cameras and people get to know where they
Well, no,
are.
exactly.
But the
I
problem
agree.
that you've got is they're depending on this now. And so you don't have physical officers in cars anymore.
No, you need
and
more.
I don't know,
Correct.
but certainly in Perth, bad driving, in fact, I'd go one
Got
step
worse.
further, appalling driving
I
is
have to
getting
agree with you. I
worse.
think
How many cars are there that don't seem to have indicators
Oh,
on
no,
them
well, no,
anymore?
no, they don't come.
Unbelievable.
They're extras.
I can't
Unbelievable.
believe that WA laws must clearly demand that you are not allowed to have indicators, much less use them.
Yeah, I know.
On that note, folks, I need to thank you all. Thank you
Ah,
to
look,
Ted
thank
Wolf.
you. Yeah.
Thank you for Steve Collins for filling in
Oh,
for the
that's
two
all right.
ladies.
I have
And
filled in,
thank you, as
haven't I?
always, to Chris Ilsley.
Thank you for having me, Fred. It's always a pleasure.
Three fantastic
And
bitches.
please,
Thank you.
Fred, can I have a Snickers?
You can.
No.
I'll bring you one in
I
2
want
weeks.
Honey
I want a
Wagon
violet
wheels.
crumble.
That is it for the show today. Thank you for watching. I hope you took out some great information. If you from the show today, if you did miss anything, go to our website. You can watch the shows again, especially on the memory cafes and also the dementia information by Dr. Kostridge. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful week, Australia. We'll catch you next week. Thank you to all our wonderful crew as always. Barbara in the green room, Tyra as well, Abby on the floor, Sonia, Aidan and Charlotte, and of course let's say thank you to Michael, Adrian and to Marcella for coming back. I think I've covered everybody, and thanks to you especially at home for watching. Bye for now. Have a great week.
On the couch with us. Da-da-da, da-da-da-da. On the couch with us.